Hey Void, how you doing? Um, Continuing right along with my 31 Days of Horror, and we're going old school. I've been a fan of John Carpenter for a long time, and I've already reviewed a lot of his filmography. I've done reviews for Halloween, for The Thing, and so we'll continue that. Oh, They Live. I did They Live also. But The Fog. Haven't seen this movie in years. It had been a long time since I've seen The Fog. And admittedly, I've only seen this one a handful of times. It's not usually my go-to for John Carpenter films, but it's definitely one that's worth putting up every so often. So this one came about in 1979, kind of on the heels of Halloween, and continues John Carpenter's uh, collaboration, I guess, with Jamie Lee Curtis, who's then plays a very different role in here. She's a hitchhiker coming into the small town of Antonio Bay. Picked up by a hitchhiker, and she comes in just as the town starts kind of losing its mind. Uh, we have a radio host kind of narrating the events and warning about the fog that's rolling in as the town reaches its 100th year anniversary. Right after a shipwreck happened outside, which caused the town to essentially boom, and so that tragedy ended up becoming the town's, well, founding. Unfortunately, the people of the shipwreck seem to view that a little bit differently, as a local priest has discovered his grandfather's diary, which tells the truth of that event and how, well, it wasn't so much of an accidental shipwreck as an intentional murder of several people, and now they are, well, back to voice their displeasure. Now, this movie is very good overall, but it does have a few things that don't seem to be as well defined as some other Carpenter movies. The atmosphere is great. The score, beautiful. The acting is very well put together. But it feels like there's a lot of pieces that just don't mesh fully. You've got the guy who picked up the hitchhiker and Jamie Lee Curtis coming into town and realizing that one of his boat's missing. He kind of becomes dueling main characters with Our Lady in the Lighthouse, whose name is escaping me at the exact second. But so we have her and we have him, and we're kind of jumping back and forth, which isn't normally a problem for me. But something about here just seemed like if they had stuck with one of them, it may have helped just a little bit. Stevie, that's who's that? Stevie. Well, so Stevie and her son is worried about her son because he's essentially trapped in the fog. But earlier, her son found a piece of driftwood from the ship that sank, which lights itself on fire, and gives the message that 6 will die. Now, it's never clear why it's going to be 6. Maybe those are the 6 people who conspired to kill the ship. But it seems like they don't seem to be aiming for people in particular. They just seem to be taking anyone that they can come across. So, I'm not clear on what the rules are here. Like, they kind of set up kind of the witching hour from midnight to 1, which is when, pretty much the night before, which is when the murder was planned. And there's a ghostly killing then, and the whole town seems to go crazy for a little while. Like, electronics are going strange, car alarms, dogs barking, anything like lights are going out, power. It gets very strange. But we don't really know why it's getting strange. The fog sort of is there during this, but not as much. The fog is still out to sea, and that's when some people are dying out there. But then come to the next day, as the fog rolls in to blanket the whole town, it's like, we're not sure. I'm just a little unclear on exactly what the people want revenge, and they have good reason for getting revenge. But do you think they'd be targeting some people that were maybe descended from the than from the originals, which they do seem to be to a degree, but at the same time, it doesn't really telegraph who those people are. It, it's a great idea, and a lot of the concepts do work, but it just feels like it's like the Drifter coming in, Jamie Lee Curtis. She knows that bad things seem to follow her, but there's no real payoff with her. She's just an outsider just stumbling into this. She plays it very well, and she's an interesting character, but she just seems a little wasted. Which keeps me from giving this like a stunning review. Also, for an R-rated film, this is amazingly tame. I mean, there's a little bit of language here and there, sure, but like it's got to be one of the most bloodless horror films I have seen. And I mean, there's like you see stabbings and attacks, but there's no blood, which is fine. I can see they're going more like an atmospheric ghosty thing, but why is this R? Really? Well, all the same, despite those small flaws, the cinematography and score alone made this one worth checking out. For me, The Fog is going to be still. I'll give it a good 7 MacGuffins. If any of those things were addressed a little bit more, I would definitely rate this higher. But like, I want to follow more of the Lady in the Lighthouse, but she just. Stevie was a cool character, but since she's kind of stuck in one location, more watching things happen and then being directly in danger, she just doesn't feel like she's enough in the spotlight as she could be. And well, you have John Houseman essentially out there to try. Was it John Houseman? Maybe not. No, it's Tom Atkins. Tom Atkins is our lead. He's running out there trying to get everything going, and he's great. But again, he just seems to be like, it doesn't they weave the story together a little bit too late, as he's the one that goes and saves Stevie's son, and he talks to her like once or twice on the phone. So Stevie has her role, but I want to see more of her. So yeah, giving this one a good still gets a good 7 MacGuffins. It's definitely worth checking out, and if you haven't seen it, I do highly recommend it. But all for now, and see you soon, boys.